Okay.
All right.
So, of course, thank you. Thank you so much for coming to Seattle. All of Seattle appreciates it.
Big fan of this town, a lot of history. And Audrey Tang, I mean, that's a very classy company to be keeping, so thank you for the honor, Ted.
So, okay, so we're going to talk, we're going to start by talking about some career stuff. These are questions that you've answered a bunch of times before, but, I think people would, want to hear that. Then we're probably going to veer into some topics which maybe haven't been asked about as much.
But
in
we have
previous
talked
years.
about at
that,
length.
But that you and I
Yes.
have talked about.
You guys
to some
probably
extent.
don't know, but Ted is my therapist. I'm not kidding. I have it in writing. So
Actually, you did actually call me your therapist on the Vanity Fair
Yes.
podcast.
proofs,
Yeah.
remembrance of things past.
Yes.
Oh, would you like to hear the email, guys? Because I'll pull it up and read it to you right here, right now. I'm ready to rumble, Ted Chiang. So you said to me, hey, Natasha, I was just listening to your interview on Vanity Fair's Little Gold Men podcast, and I heard you mention me in your answer to the proofs question about how you'd like to die. As it's so... I agree. This is, well, I'll get to my reply. As it so happens, the reason I'll be in New York City next week is that I'm stopping there on my way to give a talk at Princeton on the ethics of immortality. One of the things I find interesting about the desire to live forever, with you being a notable exception, is that many of the people who have that desire are kind of terrible. Now, would you like me to say the name here? I think it's legal. Come on.
We can skip it.
Come on.
Skip it.
For example, have you heard of Brian Johnson? You all have plasma. Anyway, read this article. Yes, I've heard of Brian Johnson. Obviously, I'm obsessed with the guy. What a freak. Why are so many bad people attracted to life extension? It's a puzzle. But as your therapist, I want to reassure you that you are not a bad person for wanting to live forever. But maybe it's something we can discuss during a future session. All I have to say is, best email ever, printing this out to hang above my bed. Looking forward to our next round, much needed. And it did help me a good deal.
Okay, so. Okay, so we'll circle back.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I want to talk about I want to ask you about your career and your arc as an artist. So, because you started out as a child actor, but that was not a decision that you made. That was a decision that your parents made for you.
Yes.
And so, but now you are an actor, a writer, a producer, a director.
Yes.
So I want to talk about just some of the sort of milestones or turning points that brought you to where you are today. And I guess maybe the first one I want to ask about is going to the film forum instead of attending classes at NYU.
Ah, yes. That's before I was, after. I was a child.
Yeah, but so
I was a teenager.
Yes.
Okay.
And because
Like a child.
Well, but so you were philosophy and film.
Yes, chronologically, it's so. So at 4 years old, I'm now 45. Don't look a day over one. And my parents put me in what they call show business, and it was mostly, I think, to pay the bills. So then what happens when you're a kid is you're way too alert. I can remember almost everything. You have to drink endless cans of shelved Minute Maid commercials and Minute Maid concentrate over and over. This is the 80s, there's no laws, you know. It's disgusting, it's a spit bucket, but you smile, and my mother would always be saying, enunciate, enunciate. I was like, it's gonna turn out to be my thing, I'm a mumbler. And, you know, then later I would even like file the taxes and stuff for my mom because, well, it's unpopular these days, but, you know, I am born Jewish, and so I had a knack for it. And then I guess my big hits were Pee-wee's Playhouse. Thank you. I love Paul Rubens very much. And then, I don't think he's been canceled, Woody Allen. So he played my dad in this movie when I was 15 years old, called Everyone Says I Love You. And then I thought, great, now I'm done with acting. I shall transition into director. I must do this double major with philosophy so I have what to write about, so I can do these kind of Fellini, Bergman, sort of cinematic, essentially Woody Allen movies, I guess, you know? But I'll only apply to one school, Tisch, it's local, and then I sent this T.S. Eliot bit about you know, I will not be a part of the lost generation. Valley of Dying Stars on that set. A short story about cutting out my mother's umbilical cord to wrap myself in it, which is essentially the second season of Russian Doll. I now see it. I was sort of a body horror. And I was skipped my senior year of high school. And they said, as long as you finish your freshman year here at Tisch, you will be a high school graduate. But then they asked for money, Ted.
As schools, you know, tend to do.
I thought it was a lot of money.
I mean, that is what schools ask for. They don't ask for a little money. Schools never ask for a little money.
But I was 15. And the kids were like 18, rich kids. And Cinema Studies 101 was Apocalypse Now. And I thought to myself, if you haven't read Joseph Conrad and seen Hearts of Darkness, you know, Coppola's wife made that documentary, and Apocalypse Now, why are you a film major? How did you get here? I'm not paying to be with them. This is insane. And so I went to the dean of admissions and asked for a scholarship. And he did not give me one, so I went to the film forum.
And so, you know, okay, so early on, like, you already knew that you wanted to direct.
I would say some would call it, you know, disassociating due to life in a traumatic, you know, volatile upbringing. I've also had a shrink tell me that it's not like it's hypervigilance. It's more of like a fear. It's not actually that you should join the CIA. You're just waiting for the rug to be pulled out from under you at all times. So you're very, you know, attentive. Yeah, I always think I was sort of disassociating from weird family dramas by becoming like a witness and cataloging scenes and putting them to music. So if my mother would play Tina Turner, What's Love Got to Do with It, over and over and over, you know, weeping, I'd be like, now that's a scene. So I would do things like this, you know, like Charles Aznavour, like L'amour c'est comme un jour, si s'en va, si s'en va. I'm an excellent singer. And just playing it so many times, and then so many chaotic things would be happening that I'd be sort of just like a witness, like, you know, I'm the sane one in my family. And so really, I think that's how I began to see things in images.
So, so you've done film, you've done television, you've also done theater, and I've heard it said that film is a director's medium, theater is an actor's medium, and television is a writer's medium. Does that resonate with you at all?
No. I have also heard it said. I think what they mean by that, just to drill down on it a bit. So, theater, I think, is technically, for sure, the writer's medium, because it's the only place where it cannot be changed in the edit or something. You know what I mean? On a technicality, you don't have a test audience that can change it. So really, the director is fully secondary. However, they say it's an actor's medium because once it's on its feet, nobody can stop the show live, so you can actually live through a continuous performance and go on that journey or that arc of that character and play it however you want, night to night, regardless. So you actually have an experience of something. I have had it happen, like maybe only 3 times in my life where I was actually acting and discovered what it was and why it was so addictive. To somebody like Richard Burton, who must have been drunk all the time, I mean. So he was having more of them, but was such a theater actor. I was making a sandwich on stage with Ethan Hawke. They call that a name drop. And we were playing brother and sister, a play called Blood from a Stone. And I had a small part, which is harder to do. It's like being shot out of a cannon. You don't really have the run-up. I was making a sandwich. I had to wait an hour backstage before I came out even. And at a certain point, I realized that I'd kind of like blacked out, and I was actually just making a sandwich. And like I had no idea where I was. Like there was just cheese going on the bread, but I had done it enough times and I sort of like looked up at him, like sort of perplexed. And he's very fun in theater. He's real smirky.
Not like you.
No. I was very nervous. I have terrible stage fright, less for this kind of thing, which is more of a musical exchange. But yeah, I really came up on film. Film, you have takes, you have second chances. So I think I really understood that embodiment of like, oh, that's what they mean by an actor's medium. But I would say that, frankly, it is technically the only true writer's medium other than, this, like where it's full control.
Yeah. Okay, and I've been very struck by when I think about the difference between acting on stage and acting for film and television, because as you say, film and television, you are doing a lot of takes, and it seems to me that you're often like, you do a scene, and then, especially on film, then you wait a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And then you do another take. Whereas, with theater, you are in character, you are acting for, like a couple hours at a stretch. And, I've been impressed that, television and film actors, they are sitting around in their trailer for an hour, and then they come on, and they suddenly have to get into character.
Yeah.
And then they go back and sit in their trailer for an hour, which is that's a skill, but it's a very different skill than acting for the stage.
And in general, I would say it's much easier to be a lead, like the lead character, than it is to be a supporting or like a cameo or something, because of just that reason. And when you're the lead in a movie or a play, you're actually like activated and sort of busy and fully in it all the time. And when you just have to kind of like come alive, and then they sort of sit you back down or tell you, feel free to use the restroom. There's a lot of walking actors around as if they don't exist as people without the set. Like, oh, that's your tea, huh? And you're like, indeed. Would you like to pee after you drink it? Probably, that sort of a thing. Which way are you going? Okay, yes, she's off to the restroom. I think that part of the reason I really ended up loving so much writing and directing and acting and show running all at the same time is like a Charlie Chaplin effect kind of like comes over me where suddenly I'm just like too busy to kind of like, because I have to be, there is no time for the trailer. So I'm actually like fully embodied 360 in something, and yet that feels sort of more relaxing because you don't have time to like stress out about, you're like, fuck the lipstick, you know? That kind of a thing. You're really like, your brain is going in many places.
And so, in a couple interviews, you've mentioned the impact that this acting coach, Terry Knickerbocker, had. You know, you started working with him, I think, during the second season of Russian Doll?
It was before, but it was aggressive. I'd run into Sam Rockwell, that's another name. They're sort of like New York theater people that are like well respected. It's not a big deal. And I said like, Sam, because I think I always have had, because I was this kid actor, I had to work to like, you know, choose it. And I love acting. It's a really fun thing, but I don't love this other stuff you're talking about of like waiting around. I think I don't love the idea that somebody gets to choose you or dictate when you work or when you don't, or like, you know, call in the agent being like, so you're telling me they're not making any movies because I keep seeing posters. It's like, you know, and unlike even like music, you know, you can't practice. Like you can't, you know, you can't just be writing. You can't, you know what I mean? You like, there's nowhere to sing your song if there's no job in a way. So I said to Sam, how do you do it? How do you love all this acting and keep getting better? And like, what are you doing? You've been doing this so long. And he said, oh, I don't do it. It's Terry Knickerbocker does it, you know. And I said, what's that? He said, and my acting coach, what do you do with him? Because I'd never taken an acting lesson in my life. And, he said, like, well, we make each choice, like, specific, and so that then it has a real. So then I worked with Terry. It was after Orange is the New Black, and I was doing this movie, a low-budget movie, called Anti-Birth, where I was, like, yet another wastoid with big hair, and I was like, this is going to become a problem. You know, I'm so grateful that my career is back, but they're going to think that I'm just this guy. So, you know, I realized I had to delineate the roles from each other despite being a specific type. And I hated it. But then when I got to set, because I was like, yeah, I know what she's thinking, Terry. I got to set and it was really helpful. And then I continued to, like, then going into Russian Doll, I worked with him again. In Russian Doll 2, because of COVID, I would even work with him and rewrite so that for all the other characters, so that they would have all of their motivation or rewrite their characters while talking to him. And then for Poker Face, certainly, I was like, oh shit, it's another show. I've got to delineate that.
So the episodes of Russian Doll that you directed, like in the first season you directed the finale, the second season you directed, you know, the premiere and the finale and another episode. And those were also the episodes where you were credited as writer. And so, like, is it important for you to do both of those, to both write and direct an episode?
Not really. I mean, this year, spoiler alert, I direct the finale of Poker Face, which I didn't write. And then, thanks. We haven't seen it. But I also direct the second episode, which I wrote with Alice Jew, who obviously also writes on Russian Doll and has like so many Emmys and stuff, like because of Beef, and she has her new show with the Safdie brothers, and I mean she's just like she's an actual. She's a real Ted Chiang level genius. I mean, that's a big brain, and so it's not that crucial. I mean, yeah, Shrill or High Fidelity or Orange is the New Black, I directed and didn't write. Jacqueline Novak special, obviously she wrote. Thanks to one person, and she's extraordinary. But I think what's funny about your previous question about television writing being a writer's medium is I would say it's anything but. Like, it's so by committee. You know, there's a few sort of holdouts, like, you know, Mike White is sort of always in trouble with the WGA because he writes and directs all of White Lotus. And now the rule is, you know, you have to have at least X amount of other writers, but they're just people that like to, you know, I think Sam Levinson does a lot of his own, you know, writing and directing, if I'm not mistaken, on Euphoria, and Craig Mazin, I think, wrote all of Chernobyl by himself, and is now also writing and directing on Last of Us. But there are so many notes, like, you know, Kumail Nanjiani, him and Emily Gordon, they're a couple writers, and they gave out like hats for Christmas that said no notes, because it's just a barrage, and it's just like so many opinions, and you're just like a synthesizer, so of all the ideas, and it's hard for me to imagine that, you know, separate from some of those exceptions that I just listed. Yeah, I think it's a very by committee job, meaning like everybody wrote all the episodes of Russian Doll, and everybody wrote all the episodes of Poker Face, and, you know, but like some are much stronger than other. Like Leslie Headland's a fucking genius. You know what I'm saying? Like her pass, or like a Ryan Johnson pass, is really, you know, takes the place up a notch. So. But yeah, it's really crazy how much they note stuff. Like,
Yeah. Just as a quick side note, you mentioned the Jacqueline Novak
yeah,
show special that you directed that Netflix. It's called Get on Your Knees, and it's a one-woman show, a sort of a monologue dedicated to the art of the blowjob, maybe.
yes,
And
art form.
and it's a very writerly performance, I think. But so I was curious about that, because so you were involved in the original off-Broadway production. You helped get that.
Like, not really. I mean, that's another great example of where that's really. I mean, theater is, as in, you know, a writer's medium, like a Spalding Gray or whatever. It's I mean, it's like poetry. It's outrageous. And yeah, all I did is really, you know, film it. And the way she performs it is different every night. And she really moves like a beast, and is rewriting in real time. She's just brilliant. And yeah, but I guess I was like presented by or something in the off-Broadway version, and then yeah.
Okay.
And John Early directed the
stage version.
Stage version, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then she asked me to do it, and John also did, and I was very honored to do it. She got her things. She got Emmy nominations.
Yeah. Check it out.
It's it was on Netflix. By the time you get there, nobody knows where it all goes. I think Russian Doll has commercials now, which I'm proud of.
Okay. So.
As intended.
Okay. Now, you've written a feature film that you would that you plan to direct.
Yes.
Is it something that you're going to star in, or is it?
Oh. Well, written several. So it sort of depends which chicken or eggs, who am I to make timelines? It's the one most likely to go first, I would not be in, which would be much more relaxing. It's very fun to be at the monitor. If you're doing this kind of thing, you're obviously a sick person. And so, real OCD, sort of aesthetic control freak, want every detail. I'm sure that you feel the same when you're writing, no? Would you say that writing is a writer's medium?
Yeah. One of the things, from the limited, glimpses I've had into, film and television, it is blazingly clear to me that, I could never work in that medium because it's all notes. It's
Yeah.
all notes. And, what I often say about writing short stories is that, the best thing about writing short stories and the worst thing about writing short stories is no one cares. You can just write it however you want. Like no one is going to give you notes because no one cares.
Wow, I
And-
care so much.
Uh,
I'm really offended right now.
but in general, you can do what you want because no one cares. When there are a lot of people involved, everyone has a say because they're all invested in it, and so you lose control. But when you're writing prose fiction, you can do it totally by yourself. You don't need anyone else, and you have that
How,
freedom.
Ted, do you get these ideas that are so sweeping inside of such tight sentences? How do you do that? And now that we're here in 2025, it's astounding how much information is in these stories. They are endless.
Well, thank you, but okay, so. Okay, so maybe it's time we can shift gears a little into talking to some of the things that you don't maybe get to talk about as often. So,
Wanting to be a cyborg, you
well,
mean?
yeah.
Oh.
Well, okay. So, for one thing, you're kind of a science nerd.
Yeah.
You've said that first season of Russian Doll was partially inspired by Douglas Hofstadter's book "I Am a Strange Loop,"
Yes, it was.
which is a really deep cut. You could be familiar with Douglas Hofstadter as a cognitive scientist and not be aware of "I Am a Strange Loop." That's a deep cut.
Yeah,
And you said the second season was inspired by the physicist Carlo Rovelli and his book "The Order of
Yes.
Time." So
Yes.
you are into these things.
Yes, yes.
You know,
And why can I remember the past, but I can't remember the future?
it's
Really?
it's a profound question.
Yes, and that was sort of the thesis for Russian Doll Season 2, which is also, I would say, very similar to The Merchant of the Alchemist's Gate, in a way.
I had that same thought.
Did you read, were you also Rovelli head? The Order of Time?
Not when not back when I was writing
That?
that. But
The other big one in season one was, in season one, I came in with 2 books to the first day of the writer's room. Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, and then Reich for Beginners, which is, like orgone therapy and stuff. That didn't end well for him. I was like, let's write a comedy. And I Am a Strange Loop was it was just also in a way Buñuel's Exterminating Angel and like so. And I guess it was really about, from the personal experience, it's Seattle, of being a junkie. I had this weird sort of thing where, in fact, I had died and come back to life, many times. So I'd sort of also Richard Pryor, Jojo Dancer, Your Life is Calling, or even Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in America. I don't know if you remember, De Niro's in that opium den, and he's kind of looking back at a life, or even my favorite, Fosse's All That Jazz, kind of like I'd had that experience, that lived experience of being, in a hospital bed, like without the use of my legs, or like, open heart surgery, real junkie business. And so you just kind of inevitably just sit there and you're just like thinking about where did it all go wrong, and like how could it have all gone right, and essentially like this arrow of time and remorse and regret, and you still have all this kind of hope and dreams, and like what makes you want to stay alive. My first phone call to you was that of Ted, I'm just reaching out for help. I just can't square it. Why do I want these new sort of cyborg organs so that I can live forever? Just out of fear that I use these organs up, like. So I'm like, it's coming, and I have a lot more I now want to say and do, and I'm worried about time, the nature of time, is really stressing me out here. How do you square that with somebody who also wakes up daily, has to do all this work to get out of like a natural born state of suicidal ideation and realize that it's not real, It just takes a walk around the block and a cup of coffee, it turns out. But sometimes that's really hard to do. So I think it's real. I said, why is that happening? That was our first conversation. Do you remember that?
And so, so you do what? And so you have talked about that you're very attracted to the idea of becoming a cyborg, having maybe parts of you replaced.
Yes, yes. I would like to, like in Welcome to the Monkey House, and then they zip in. It's not the way it turns out. I've reread it since. This isn't actually what happens in the story. But to my teenage memory, what happened is that they zipped into their outfits to go to the party, so you could be like Iman or David Bowie, whatever, and it was like your soul that counted. It's not actually the plot of the actual. It's more of like, well, they're sort of these like ghost spirits or whatever, and then they go to the Halloween shop or something. I still have the fantasy though, which is essentially like just being like a brain in a jar that can kind of hodgepodge, today I want to be a wallflower, today I want to be a warm leatherette. And like, why? It seems like, what are we're still doing cancer? Like, it's 2025. It's just, I don't know. It just seems so scary. It's like, why does life feel so high stakes, moment to moment, but it's going to end? And when you least expect it, your whole world could fall apart. So why do I care so much if I get that text message back? What the fuck is going on around here? Like, glad you guys were late, and so I just thought that it would ease some of the stress and the pressure. You could take a year off to just, I'm into oil painting now. I'm not very good at it. Like, you could go get lost and be a teenager again in a way, and just like read books and listen to music and watch movies and have that sort of sense of like an endless stretch. I could use like a 10-year stretch of just like hitting pause and just watch, like, not really watch the world go by, like sit out by the ocean somewhere, fucking just read, sleep, smoke as many cigarettes as I want because I have, iron lungs. Like in exhalation, they go and they get those lungs, and I want those very much. And yeah, then you just have time, and you could like become inspired again.
I mean, that all sounds great, but I guess I don't know that becoming a cyborg is actually a good way to achieve those things.
All right, what's your plan, Ted?
You know,
I think that I'm suspicious. Why are you so into death?
I'd say I'm not into death, but I guess I feel like that. I think I think one of the central problems of being alive is reconciling oneself to the inevitability of one's death. It is absolutely not easy, but I think that is part of the task, part of the job of being a human being, is trying to kind of.
But between you and me, why? Why does it have to go that way? Like, is it the poetry of the thing? So you've sold yourself on the idea? Have you considered what it might be like, to just have? I could just pause, I'm good with 45. Like, this is fine. I mean, back hurts a bit, you know what I mean? I feel the strain if I walk upstairs or whatever, but we're cool. Going further than this, if I can't get up those subway steps, and it's already hard, I'll be honest, I'm just walking around and I'm, the poetry, the beauty, it's finite. I wish I was more evolved.
I mean, staying healthy, trying to avoid the ravages of aging.
Right.
Of course, we're all looking for that. We're all looking for that. But that I think is maybe a separate issue than the inevitability of death.
Yeah.
I think
So you just, when you say inevitable, you say it like it's just a fact, right? Because you're like the smartest motherfucker I know, you know what I mean? So this is a problem.
I wish I had better news for you. I really do.
Well, my latest conundrum is suddenly all these people are up to their shenanigans, and I'm like, so what is it? So it's all just like robotics in the end, and we are going to be able to live forever? Well, not with you freaks. You know what I mean? So they've really taken some of the gloss off of the whole thing.
Which is sort of what I was implying when I
said,
sent
"Are
you
you
that
a
email."
bad?" And at first I thought maybe I am, and then maybe over the course of the years, they Darth Vadered me. They broke me down, broke my spirit. But now I think it's a little bit more confusing. I think I liked it when it was less popular, maybe. I think I just liked it when it was a little more indie. It just meant they were going to be more like weirdos, I don't know. I don't know what I pictured. It was certainly not like a bunch of Tesla robots or whatever, and being like, we won. nobody has a job. You know, UBI. It'll be great. Yeah, because well, man, search for meaning. How's everyone going to feel? Oh, don't worry. All of a sudden, life cycle of software objects is upon us. Why, sure. Why won't we go live in this third space metaverse if, well, the climate change has ravaged everything and only a few people have access to clean air? It's even like that Lydia Yuknovich, Book of Joan. I mean, and what we saw in L.A., with Octavia Butler, it was like, Jesus Christ, what is going on around here? So yeah, now it seems less fun. I was picturing it a little bit more like Philip K. Dick, like sort of, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I mean by that, but just individuals staying individual, kind of like, but you had to grab some, spare liver, jam it in there. Not like the Ishiguro that makes me cry so much, where they have all those orphans with the organs. That one makes me so sad.
All right, so okay, we're gonna try and lighten the mood a little bit now. Okay, first is you did a New York Times interview a couple months ago. Do you remember what you told them? What your favorite food was?
Nope.
You said Pop Rocks.
Ah. Oh, I do love Pop Rocks. What's so fun about them is they pop right in your mouth and you can feel them. At the time, I had said it because, we were eating a dessert that had Pop Rocks in it, and she said, "What's your favorite food?" So I was like, "Pop Rocks," But it turns out it kind of is really one of my favorite. I mean, they make sounds, and remember, there's that scary story about the kid. Is that a true story? Is that confirmed? Anyone? Anyone? So what happened? He had cola with the Pop Rocks, and then he exploded? Okay. And we just all agreed that was science?
That was the story.
Right, okay. Sure, why not? Why not?
Okay, so...
would you like some?
No,
those
are for
me?
you. Those are for you.
Oh,
those
thanks.
are for you.
Perfect food. It's so exciting. Like, why isn't everything like that?
It's a good question,
Yeah.
and so chefs. If there are any chefs listening, in the audience, Natasha Lyonne wants, more
Pop Rock steak, Pop Rock egg rolls.
more recipes that involve Pop Rocks. You heard it here.
Does anyone have a can of Coca-Cola? I'd like to try something. Well, this won't work. It's lemon ginger tea. Grown-up drinks.
Okay, so I asked Ryan Johnson to I asked Ryan Johnson to pass along a question to ask you.
Okay.
Okay, and so I'm going to read this to make sure I get it right.
Backwards.
So Ryan Johnson asks, meow, 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 meow,
Yes, yeah.
meow, 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 meow.
Which I would say. Meow, 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 meow. It really was how we pass time on set. A lot of people get very stressed out when they're working, and there's really not much to do about most things. Do you believe in free will?
I do believe in free will.
Can you say more about that?
Well, so we've talked about this.
I know. I just like to hear it again. It's one
Yeah.
of my favorites.
So yeah, okay. So uh, I believe in what is known as compatibilist free will, which is the idea that the most meaningful definition of free will is compatible with determinism, and in fact requires determinism. And to illustrate this, I say that there's this sort of naive version of free will, which is this idea that when you make a decision, the universe in which you choose option A and the universe in which you choose option B, up until the moment you make your decision, the entire history of the universe was identical in those two cases, and they only diverge when you make your choice, when you choose A or B. This, I think, is kind of implicit in what a lot of people say they want from free will. But I think that is actually not a meaningful choice, because if that's the way it works, then what is your decision actually based on? Because in the universe where you chose option A and the universe that you chose option B, like, as it's set up, everything is exactly the same. So your choice is not based on anything that you've ever read. It's not based on any experience you've ever had. It's not based on any thought you've ever had. Because we've said that those are identical up until that moment. So really, that means that your choice, choosing option A or option B, that's basically a flip of a coin. That's not a useful form of free will. I think what we want from free will is that your decision actually arises out of your life experience. It arises out of things that happened to you, things you read, things that you thought about, and it's a very complex calculation. It's not a simple one, but the only way that it can be a consequence of those things is through determinedly led to your choosing option A or option B. So I think that that's the kind of that computation. It's not a simple one. It's not an easily predictable one. It's not one that other people can guess readily. But it's something that arises out of your experience, and determinism is the only way that can be possible.
You wrote a whole story about this, no? I would say two.
I mean, it's a recurring theme in my work.
Yeah. So on set, when everyone is running around, I guess you have a choice to either sort of engage with the panic of it.
Or say meow, meow, meow a lot.
Just sing meow, 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 meow to each other a bunch and play the crossword, which is what we do.
Yeah, and so you are making a choice. That is not something that was predictable by anyone else.
Yeah, so it's just something that Ryan and I invented as a coping mechanism, really, for let's not get lost in this sort of this tense kind of, oh gosh, we're not going to make it. Instead, we'll go to this third place, which is, I guess it was, dictated by life experience. And, he really likes the Beatles, so we would often sing it in a Beatles tune. And I really like sort of, Meow Mix commercials and stuff like that. So it was like a choice to go to a third place.
Okay.
I don't know that it doesn't turn out well for the characters in your books. Because there's two of them, right? It's not just anxiety, the dizziness of freedom. There's another one, too, that does this, right? Where they go and they can kind of try to see like a parallel path life had they made those decisions retroactively.
That's anxiety, is the dizziness of freedom.
Oh, good. That's a wild one. I mean, it's much more wild. Like, it's interesting that essentially what you're saying to me in that, and this is a question, it's like no choice, no outcome would be satisfactory. Is that fair to say?
Well,
Sorry, it just became a bummer.
oops. Yeah.
Yeah, you should go. You don't want to hear all this. It's gonna get darker.
So I think these are
Save yourself.
I think these are distinct issues. One is whether we have meaningful free will, and the other is there a choice that you could have made that would have made everything great? So I think you can have meaningful free will without it being the case that there was something that would have led to like everything being great.
It's paralyzing, though, right? I mean, I would say it's also a theme for me, this idea of like, trying to reconstruct time or trying to square the idea that it's okay. All of those mistakes led me to this moment right now. And it's supposed to be like that's a hallelujah moment, but is it? I'm not sure. I certainly think much more about the things my imagined failures than I do. Like, God, you're a winner. And yet, really, I shouldn't. That made me laugh. Was it there? But I definitely know for a fact that this is, I'm incredibly, lucky. Like that fucked up childhood led me to have a point of view, and that led me to have and so it's kind of all the things you go through are the things that make you you. And I've never. This is more than I could have ever imagined for myself. So,
And I think to bring us back to season 2 of Russian Doll, and as you mentioned, my story, The Merchant Alchemist Gate. I think that one of the things that that a certain type of time travel story does is say that we cannot change the things that happen to us, but maybe we can change the effect that they have on us. How we go forward, and I think that sort of ties in with what you're talking about now. That none of us can change our pasts, but maybe we can come to terms with our past.
It's well, I mean, I guess it's also ultimately like arrival on some level, right? I realize that's not the title of your story, but it's sort of this idea that it was worth it all just to be alive, right? Just to be alive at all. I'd do it all over again. I'd do it, And in making the season, I think the reason I reached out is I was like, I see it and I'm so relieved that it's all there, and this idea of actually quantum leaping into like your mother's thing and understanding and having like true empathy, really like gaining this sort of deeper understanding for also, epigenetic footprint, intergenerational trauma, whatever it is, and why you're, doing such a great job just, being you as a, 12-step guy. I'm definitely, sort of trained in kind of like that modality of thinking. We're all perfect children of God. And I just don't know. I think by the end of it, even though I was so relieved to see it, I genuinely did. It asked new questions of, do I actually believe this, and how can you square, like in this moment, injustice at all, really? Like, so I never understood that. It was like a lot of why I found myself in such a troubled teenage spot in the first place. Like, when people say now, like, are you stoked? Are you happy? Oh my God, Golden Globe nomination. I'm like, I am grateful, that I'll get to continue working because of it, but like, well, selfishly, either it would be cooler if like a win gave you an extra year of life guaranteed. You know what I mean? Like that would be a bigger prize, and then also like on a deeper level, why is it? How could you possibly be like going to these things and watching all this glitterati and like knowing what's going on in the world and like just all of these freedoms being taken away and oh cool, what word did they add today? Oh cool, so you can't say advocacy. Okay, that makes sense. Let's get rid of that one. Let's get rid of diversity. Let's get rid of any of. I mean, like it's hard to hold both truths. Like it's I guess this idea that we'll lose interest in ourselves and gain interest in our fellows, and it to me is a little bit like I'm so proud to have personal achievements, but it mostly makes me feel like case closed, mission accomplished. Now how the hell do you reconcile everything else? And I think that's really why I was reaching out, is trying to figure out what's it all mean, Alfie? What's it all mean? What's it all about? That's mostly what I wonder about. That's that philosophy part.
I mean, yeah, that's all. That's what we're all. That's what we're all wondering about.
Yeah, I mean it's weird, and then sometimes I think now I'm just going rogue. Sometimes I think like, well, and you'd know how to say this better. You clearly have an education. But right, like human beings have only existed for such a short period of time relative to all that's come before. So, I mean, I don't know. Is this not, if everything is unfolding perfectly and just as it should be, just like your death concept, then is it not possible that we are meant to just plug into the machine and this is all part of the big plan or something? I mean, I don't know. When I watched Transcendental Man, the Ray Kurzweil documentary, I was like, sort of like, I'm with it. Wait, you want to bring your dad back from the grave? You're a freak. Re-singularity, and now he kind of keeps moving the timeline conveniently a little bit, but also a lot of what he's saying is sort of happening. So it's like, are you a crackerjack, crackpot, or are you actually a savvy dude, other than the Frankensteining your dad part? So I don't know. I guess I really am curious, like, have we done such a great job as human beings? Like, certainly some people would say it has not been an ice cream sundae.
No, it has not. But okay, I mean, all right. So, okay, we're gonna try and
rein it in.
We're
Shouldn't have given me those Pop Rocks.
we're gonna try and maybe move in a lighter direction. As I got a question sent to you by Coleman Domingo.
Oh, wow, you really reach out to people.
He said, "You've been known for throwing great parties with me as your co-host. How do you choose such weird invitations, and what is the meaning behind them?" And this is actually a question of free will, like you are acting as a.
I don't really understand, like an Evite or whatever they do, with you send it online and then you click on the thing. I like to send these sort of 90s weird rave flyers, I think. I make them on my phone, and I send them out the same day. And so, as you'll notice, that's an early draft because it didn't even have an address yet. So, ring in 2024 with us. Swingers welcome. No address, no time. That was Coleman's primary note. This was our New Year's party. So that was adjusted. And, well, it turned out a lot of people thought swingers really were welcome. And, well, that's just the sort of chaos agent I aim to be. Because, well, they were welcome in a way. I just was sad to disappoint them. It was mostly just a little bit of like a dance party. Happy New Year, and it was over. Now this one, the John Woo's Hard Boiled. You see, here I've attached details. Okay, I'm telling you exactly when it is. Now it has been sent out on Saturday, so I'm letting you know it's going to be at nighttime. Come as you are, consider an Uber and bikini. Then there's a poodle. 9 p.m. Now, the mix-up here that had happened is a lot of people thought it was going to be a screening of John Woo's Hard Boiled, which is an excellent film, so many people did not come until, you know, like 11 because they wanted the movie to be over. And it's very anachronistic, so it doesn't really add up. So, turn of phrases like, what's going on with the baby? And then, but this movie is so good looking. So I'd been thinking a lot about it recently as a reference point for another movie I'm writing with a plan to direct. So really, how could they not know that? Come as you are, I thought is, you know, I mean, this is Seattle. And consider an Uber, like, you know, I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your life, free will. So it's probably the smart thing to do. Friends don't let friends drive drunk, and you probably won't find parking. And the bikini is key, because I like the idea that that's for boys and girls. Like, spice up the joint, would you? Wear a thong. And I only wear a very full bottom. Oh, nothing else?
Okay, so then, yeah,
this was more of like a pyramid theme.
okay, so now,
Yeah.
all right, so now can we switch the screen to mirror the laptop? Okay, so you
Yes.
are, so
Yes.
you
Would you like me to complete the crossword now?
yes, I would, because
The entire crossword.
well,
just this.
we're gonna give you a few minutes, and we want to see
Okay.
how fast you can do this. I asked Deb Amlin, who you
Oh, I see what this is going to be.
this is something
Oh,
that
jeez, this is like a quiz.
that
What do I like? I want to do quiz, a pop quiz. And how does this even work? You can't go down. You have to go all the way to the actual clue. Oh, jeez. I don't know what that song is. Let's see. So what is this trying to be? Cartoon? I'm in this show, right? Shit, I don't know.
yes, several of the clues are yeah. Okay, yeah, 9
But
down.
Did somebody? Did some?
9 down.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
Yes.
Wow, thanks for that guidance, and it makes me feel better about myself.
Okay. Okay, how about 24 down?
Wow.
24 down.
You worked with her on. Okay. Okay.
That's of course Clay Duvall.
Okay, and then. Oh, I know him. Okay. Okay, and then. What's that going to be? An Obie or a Tony? It's the same. You always need to know. Oh, this fucking motherfucker right here. Okay. Shorten the sentence. So. It's definitely. It's got to be an Obie. Okay. What's this one?
29.
Oh, yes.
You do.
See? It's definitely an Obie.
Okay, 31
Yeah,
across.
oh, look, that I should know.
There's 37 across. Yes, Nadia.
Uh-huh. And so, now some of these are just popular, crossword clues. Any other ones want to give me a hand with there, boss? What?
Paroles.
I understand now. You don't have. Are you trying to get me hooked on pump rocks? You know what I mean? Fine, I'll parole. It's against my will, though. What's this one? Oh, okay, fine. You have that one too. You're very smart. Right, teaches. Right. Oh, okay. You got any others you want to shout out?
Well, okay, 8 across.
Yes.
8 across.
Yes, yes. Oh, and the Women's Prison Association. It's just for me. Who made this? Deb made it?
Deb Emlyn made it.
This is so sweet of her. Oh, wow. Oh, she's so sad. Oh. This isn't really built well. The not Deb's part, not the fluid. I just mean the
user
interface.
The user interface
because you can't move as quickly
awkward.
as you'd like to,
Yes.
which really takes
We're
some of the.
sorry about that. We're sorry.
No,
about
it's okay. I don't need an apology.
Okay,
I'm just grateful to be alive.
All right.
Okay.
33 down.
Okay, now people are just yelling at me, and I didn't ask for any of this, we know this one. And then, sorry, what else do you want from me? Oh, wow, okay, a lot of Tori Amos fans, calm down. But where is it, ma'am? What number? Sorry, I just lost my mind. What number is Tori Amos? Anyone? Sorry, could you tell me again louder? If I put these on, I can hear better, I'm sure. Wow, it's a real piece of work, this audience, huh?
All right, so
yes, sir.
Okay.
We're out of time because we decided to have me do a whole crossword puzzle. Oh, it's sort of not on me. You know what I mean? Listen.
I accept full responsibility for this.
But I don't know if that's enough.
But okay, we should take at least.
Definitely, let's take it. But I'm available for questions.
Okay, we'll take a few questions for the audience. All right.
Who's that? Who's a singer in 2001?
Okay, so.
Wow, I never would have gotten that. I'm aware that she sang, but it was not immediately available to me at all. Tori Amos, I would have gotten.
Okay, so here's a question for you.
Yes, Ted, I'm back.
Here's a question for you that is Seattle related.
Yes, sir.
The Immaculate Conception of Little Dizzy.
Oh, Little Dizzle.
Is Little Dizzle.
Yeah.
Is my favorite Natasha Lyonne deep cut. It's so vibrant and wild. What are your Seattle memories of making it?
So I'm sort of preoccupied is the thing. But great movie. And then I guess oh, wow, that's sweet of her. And then, I guess the baby comes out the butt, and the boy butt. That's what the movie is about, right? The Immaculate Conception of Little Dizzle, right?
Yeah. So, do you have memories of
being here?
do you have any Seattle memories of making it?
Yeah. I'm just sort of preoccupied, but I would tell you about them under different circumstances.
Maybe we should close the laptop.
Maybe
it's time for us to close the laptop.
So I can just get this one.
Okay.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, no problem. All right. Should I spell it? I could have done I could have done better if there was less rabble rousing and high stakes pressure to perform. So the Immaculate Conception of Little Dizzle is an indie film that we shot here, and I remember that it was one of my first movies back from acting, and it was the whole thing felt weird. Having a body, I don't know if we've discussed this tonight, but it's an awkward thing, and then people touch you a lot, and I hadn't acted in some time, and so I felt very uncomfortable having a body and people touching me, is my true memory of that, but also so grateful that I was doing it. And they were lovely people. Yeah. It's wild to think that I was like so just like grateful to have a job, and I considered I'd walk by and I would see a for sale sign for an apartment here in Seattle, and I would think, yeah, I should move here and live here. I really liked it here very much. It was like a very beautiful place to make a movie. It was a very good town, except for when you guys like shut laptops in the middle of like finishing puzzles.
That's how we roll in Seattle.
Yeah, it's like it's sort of you can have it all, but I mean it's just beautiful that you have that water. What's that? You got a fish market or something?
Pike
Yeah.
Place.
Yeah.
Fish
Pike
Market.
Place.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right. Here's another
At
question.
the end of Annie, is that here?
Sorry.
Little Orphan Annie. You remember her. Carol Burnett. Nothing? Bernadette Peters? Annie? It's a movie? Nobody's heard of it? Is it, they're not the scene with the Lex Luthor daddy, and doesn't that take place here?
Does it? Daddy Warbucks? Is that?
Where is it?
Isn't it? New York. New York, isn't it?
What building is she on? You know, the big end scene, the big end. A drawbridge? I don't think that's true. Anyway, I've never been up there. You know, your thing.
Okay.
I don't think it's a drawbridge, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Here's another question from
Yes,
the audience.
sir.
What are you reading right now?
Right now. Right now. Well, I guess I'm not reading right now. Do you know this short story, The Picnic?
I don't.
No, you're thinking of Picnic. Yes, no. This is a deep cut. It's a Japanese short story about a family in the future. I think his name is Suzuki. But I don't want to fuck it up. All of you shame basers putting me on blast. So I'll look it up so I'm not a scam artist. But it's kind of cool. And, you know, I just in general, I guess, would, I don't know, I just have like my usual shit. I have all my, really now I do all this kind of stuff because, you know, I'm a sucker just like everyone. So my Audible snooze. I've got Parallel World, Chiyukaku. Dawn of the New Everything, Jaron Lanier. Who Owns the Future, also Jaron Lanier. The Singularity is Nearer, Ray Kurzweil. The Pixar Touch by David A. Price. The 5 Levels of Attachment, because, you know, the 4 Agreements are so good. This one's a snooze. War on Peace, Ronan Farrow. A Brief History of Everything, Ken Wilber. Helgoland, that's your friend Carlo Rovelli. Oh, and White Holes, Carlo Rovelli. The Future is Asian, Parag Khanna. Ubik, is that how you say it? Philip K. Dick.
Yeah.
Okay, The Quantum Universe by Brian Cox. Divine Invasion, Philip K. Dick. Counterclock World, Philip K. Dick. The Eyes Have It, and Other Stories, more of him. There's a lot of Philip K. Dick in here. The Three Stigmata, Palmer Eldridge, and then here, again, I'm sort of investigating self-help,
Okay.
Attached. The Many Hidden Worlds of Quantum Mechanics, Sean Carroll. It's really, not surprising. Fraud, Zadie Smith. Yeah.
I'll bet some of you are surprised by some of the titles on this list. Yeah.
Yeah, The Body Keeps the Score, trauma stuff. The Alignment Problem, that's in here. We have some problems, I'm not sure if you've noticed. Trying to keep my eye on
it. Is that Brian Christian?
Yes, it sure is. Superintelligence, Nick Bostrom. So I'm just trying to keep my eye on stuff,
Yes.
Cloud Cuckoo Land, Future of Humanity.
Anthony
things
Durr.
like that. Yeah. This is a good recommendation. Have you guys, this is actually the only one in here that should be an Audible probably, is Stephen Fry. He does, Heroes and, this other one, Mythos, and he does all of the...
Greek myths.
Yeah, but he's got a great voice for storytelling. You can really picture it. That's the one here I would most recommend as a listen. Although there's Will Smith, he reads the book, and he's pretty great. His own life story.
So I think we are out of time. I'm sorry we didn't get to more audience questions, but hopefully you enjoyed the time that we spent hearing directly from Natasha.
Thank you. You guys are so nice. Ted, I'm so grateful. It's a nice thing. Thank you.
Thank you again so much for coming to Seattle. We really appreciate it.
You guys are too nice. More of this and less of other things. Thank you.